Shut up and sit down.
Joining us now on Inside Wisconsin, Wisconsin basketball royalty, head coach of the Badgers for, 15 seasons, and now new head coach of the Green Bay Phoenix men's basketball team, Bo and Will Ryan. Fellas, thanks for getting up early with us here on Inside Wisconsin.
Our pleasure.
Thanks for having us.
All right, I need to start straighten something out right from the beginning because I'm so far away. He is the coach of the Green Bay Fighting Phoenix. Can I not call him UWGB anymore? Am I just so ancient that that's not right? What's the story?
You can call us whatever.
Okay.
You're a GB legend, so it's, you grew up calling it UWGB.
Yeah.
UWGB is perfectly fine.
Okay, good. Or if nothing else, if somebody could just grandfather me in and go, okay, I get it. He's old. He's got a smartphone. He's baffled. He's that progressive guy that doesn't want to open the PDF, but he wants to call him UWGB. So I need to do that. Otherwise, I'm just going to people go like, hey, did you see how Green Bay played last night? And I'm like, no, I'm not even unaware that that's a team. You say UWGB, now I'm in. So I appreciate that.
When I tell people where Will coaches, I always say UWGB.
See, there you go. Maybe after we get done with this, Will, you could give me the number of your branding and marketing people, and he and I can have it, or she and I, we can have a discussion, and we can work this thing out.
Will and I got to meet for the first time a couple weeks ago at the Green Bay Phoenix Packers steak fry, but him and I go at least a year back now. I'm the public address announcer for the GB men's basketball team, and I got to be honest, Will, it was lonely at the Crest Center this year. It was me and you and like 13 guys and some staff members. How is it going to feel this year now, hopefully with fans back in there? And by the way, welcome to Green Bay.
Thank you so much. No, during the season, I had no idea who our PA guy was. And then, Trevor, you reached out to me via Twitter, and we're going back and forth, and then we exchanged numbers. And because you were in the upper deck, I had no idea that was you. And then when I met you a couple weeks ago at the steak fry, you came up to me. I was like, oh, man, you're a lot taller than I thought. What are you like 6'5", 6'6"?
Yep, 6'8", large mammal. Yep.
Okay. I was like, whoa, I didn't expect that. So, yeah, the whole year I had no idea really who you were. I could see you from afar, from across the court. Very, very crazy times. Every game kind of felt like a scrimmage. And after the game, it was, you look around and it's empty gym, nobody to shake hands with, can't, say hi to your kids or your wife. You just walk off the court, go to the locker room. So we'll have that Resch Center rocking this year. We'll get a lot of us back in the stands and have some fun.
I watched all this, whatever sport it was, to see people trying to piece that thing together. And like you just discussed the difficulties of that 2.5 hours of the game day, which is really kind of the high point. I think the harder part for that is, like, how do you hold that team together getting up to that date, whether it's practice, whether it's like, okay, guys, we're done here. Now I need you to not go be knuckleheads so that we can play again the next one. Like, behind the scenes, how difficult was that?
Well, I got the job last June. So all the young men that were incoming or returners were guys that I did not recruit. So I didn't have that bond, that relationship with them when I got the job. You try to expedite the process and get to know them as well as you can, but you're doing that all behind a mask. And you just don't gel with them right away. It took a little while, but every day it was, guys, be smart, keep your noses clean, steer clear of trouble. We don't want to shut this thing down. So our guys did a phenomenal job of steering clear of COVID, and we were undefeated when it came to COVID tests. Not our win-loss record, but the COVID test, we were undefeated.
So, Bo, as Will comes back to Wisconsin, and obviously you're just a Wisconsin coaching legend, we're going to cover all that ground, by the way, in today's episode. How did that make you feel, though? Because you guys are Wisconsin guys. I know, Bo, you weren't born here, but you all grew up here. Will, you grew up in Platteville. So, Bo, here comes Will back to Wisconsin now, coaching Green Bay. That's got to be a proud moment for you.
Well, without a doubt, I've spent more years in Wisconsin than back in Chester, Pennsylvania. So Wisconsin is my home, his home. And to have him in the state in the Wisconsin system, which he knows pretty well. And the other nice part is, unfortunately for Will, I had him for a couple of years and then took the job at UWM, and he stayed at Platteville for a year and then came the second year to UWM. And then Pat Richter made a phone call and I left Milwaukee, Madison. So he never really got to play for me other than his redshirt freshman year. So to have him close is good, even though in the winters, Kelly and I are out in La Quinta, California, because the weather's pretty good.
Yeah.
Anywhere from 70 to 85 every day. But to have him back and to have the family back, to have the grandkids around at times is really rewarding for Kelly and I.
I think my man Norm Stewart spends time out in La Quinta. Do you ever see? Is that right? You see Norm out there?
Absolutely. Had dinner with him. He's the one that we started the Coaches versus Cancer organization when he was diagnosed, and then that became our charity of choice of the NCAA basketball coaches. And Will gave opening remarks last night to our Coaches versus Cancer gala here. And he did a pretty good job because we raised $600,000 here in Madison. And that blows away everybody else in the country for every other gala. For about the 14th straight year, we've raised more money here in Madison than they have anywhere else in the United States. So we're pretty proud of that. And Will, as I said, gave some opening remarks and really delivered a great message.
So, but you always want to be a resource for your kids if they have questions, right? How often is he called? Does he ever call and say, "Dad, I just need an out of bounds play"?
No, he's got enough out of bounds plays. The joke for the Platteville program was that I ran the same out of bounds play every time. Now there were 327 reads off,
right?
But it was the same alignment. I might have embellished that a little bit, but there are 4 or 5 different things that you can counter depending on how the team plays, right? Well, they could be in a man-to-man, and then on out of bounds plays they go zone. They could be zone and then go man-to-man. So you have to have the reads. So he has those notebooks.
Digger Phelps once told me, and he's like, I got 138 out of bounds play. And Bob Knight looks at him and goes, "Listen, you," and then he cursed. He said, you only need one if it can work. But
did Digger have that colored pen in his
Of course
hand?
he had his highlighters with him. Yes, the tie lighter. We call them tie lighters because they match up when he goes through there. But why would you ever encourage your kids to get into coaching? That's a cutthroat, long hour. That's an awful profession, man. People yell at you. They all smarter than you, and yet you let him do this.
Well, Kelly and I were looking for doctors, lawyers, accountants with our children, and they've all taken their own route. And but it's a passion that if you have it, use it. And I've watched him work with young people when he did our camps, when Will would do our camps, both him and his brother. It seemed every time we came to the championship of the camp, it was Will Ryan against Matt Ryan, and because their teams won quite a bit. But it's just, you could tell it was something that he enjoyed doing. And his grandfather, who really started this whole teacher coach phenomenon in our family, or whatever you want to call it, he coached for 40 some years. My dad, his grandfather, never got a penny, did it after work. He was a pipe fitter that got home, grabbed a cheese sandwich, and went up to either the field or the court and coached kids all year long. So that's obviously where I picked it up.
There's something about athleticism, though, whether it's in coaching or in playing, right? And so I know now for a fact that athleticism has continued on in the Ryan family because Liam Ryan, Will's middle son, plays Little League against my son. And we're watching a game the other day, and all of a sudden this tall kid comes up in one swing and over the fence. I look at my wife, I'm like, who the heck is that? oh, I think that's Coach Ryan's kid. I'm like, got it. Makes sense. Kid can play baseball. Hopefully he can shoot a few hoops too.
Well, Will and his brother dominated the little. We're really good baseball players, and that's a parent talking, I know. But Will was always going to basketball camps. Tom Davis's camp, he went to quite a bit. Other camps, Dick's camps in Madison or wherever he could go to camp, we sent him. So he did not play baseball going into high school, and they were both boys were pretty good, and baseball's in the blood. There's a story about a player that my dad coached in American Legion baseball. I'll give you the real quick version. So he puts him in as a pinch runner. The kid couldn't hit. He puts him in as a pinch runner in the bottom of the last inning, and he tells him, steal second on the first pitch, steal third on the second pitch, boom, come up lame. Hold your ankle, hold your foot, moan, groan. So the young man did. And so the pitcher standing on the mound was going to go into the stretch, and he looks over, and here's a guy limping at third base. So the guy goes into a full windup. The young man who stole second and third steals home. His name was Billy White Shoes Johnson. He played for my dad, and the only thing he did was pinch run. So anyhow, that's baseball's in the bloodlines here, very much.
So did he do the dance when he scored?
He wasn't doing the dance yet.
Okay,
that came later.
Trevor, you have to look that up. When he scored,
I'll look it up.
Long-time Houston Oiler, then finished up with the Falcons. He was as entertaining as when you're my age, and all you got was the in local market game. So you waited for the Monday Night Football halftime scores and highlights from Howard Cosell, and then you just prayed that Billy Johnson would score so you could see his end zone celebration.
Did you hear his answer to the reporter? Said,
yeah.
Why do you do the dance in the end zone? And he gave just a straight-faced answer. Did you ever see the size of those guys that were trying to tackle me? You would do a dance too if you got.
I feel like we're getting off topic with baseball because you coached you had a Coach of the Year award for baseball one year too, over at Racine or wherever the hell you were coaching.
Yeah, Bill Cofield hired me at Dominican College, which changed its name to College of Racine, and we were there 1 year. I was an assistant basketball and head baseball coach. And we had a baseball season that, we won the close ones. We played small ball. You guys know I'm a percentage guy and, doing analytics before people talked about it. Points per possession I was using when I coached in junior high school, came to Wisconsin and nobody was using it. And I'm like, hey, points per possession is extremely important and reliable. If you're getting 1 point per possession, that was before the 3-point line. Now you need closer to 1.1 points per possession. But anyhow, baseball is a game you can be successful even if you're not that talented.
Will, what kind of points per possession were you guys getting last year?
Not enough. We improved in a lot of different areas. We did not score enough points. We took care of the ball pretty well, and our assisted turnover ratio was great. And we led the league in block shots, which I don't think my dad's teams ever did.
We were last every year in block shots because we always like to take charges and play defense with our feet and not use our hands.
But John, another Green Bay Southwest kid, Dick Bennett's grandson, Tony's nephew,
okay,
Lucas Stieber had 22 blocks on the year, so he was top like 3 or 5 in the conference as a 6'3" guard.
Because Bo, you go back a ways when you go back to Platteville. Could we make a case that for a while, in terms of basketball programs in the state, under Al McGuire, like Marquette was king. GB had some unbelievable national run. You had great teams. Dick Bennett did well. Like for a while, Wisconsin was. You're like, okay, Wisconsin basketball's playing, but I don't think anybody was sitting at home at night waiting to see the highlights or tune that thing in. The last 30 years have been really remarkable there.
Well, yeah, throughout the state of Wisconsin, everywhere that I would go as far as speaking, clinics, things like that, our state very well respected. Small College Basketball Hall of Fame is going to do some kind of documentary on our Platteville teams of the 90s because we had won 90% of our games during those 10 years and 2 undefeated seasons. There's no other program that's done that other than UCLA way back in the 60s, 70s. I'll tell you what I did as a coach. I just tried to keep everybody relaxed because the work was in. We had put the work in. The guys I just didn't want them to play tight and worried about, we can't lose this next one. We got to get that one. No, just play. Just do what you've been doing.
It's kind of like throwing a no-hitter in baseball. Nobody talks to that guy after the 7th inning. Like, just keep it loose. I always wondered about that. All right, well, we promised to talk more basketball, maybe a little less baseball, but definitely some basketball when we come back. We are Inside Wisconsin with Coach Bo and Will Ryan.
Helpful critiques, ideas, great stories, people we should know, the great bar in your town, the fish fry you want to know, the fish boil, anything that you want to reach out to us with. We are happy. We are here. You can be the inputters. We're here to listen.
Shut up and sit down.